pocket! Now move faster! You're old, not royalty. Your son's money can't fix your uselessness.
Ashley's voice was sharp. It was almost surgical. The fiancée stood over the blind woman like a shadow stretching across the marble floor. The old woman clutched her cane, knuckles trembling. She tried to steady herself, but the young woman stepped closer, whispering venom. Your dead weight, a burden he's too ashamed to admit. The mother flinched, not from the words, but from the sudden shove that followed them. Her cane slipped, her body crumpled to the cold marble, breath knocked from her lungs. Pain shot through her hip. The fiancée didn't gasp, didn't kneel, didn't help. Instead, she looked down at the fallen woman with quiet contempt. Listen carefully, she said. When I marry your son, you'll be the first thing I remove from this house. But what she didn't know, what would change everything, was that she was not alone. Someone heard, someone recorded, someone who would rewrite the future in a way she never imagined. Before we begin, subscribe now, hit that like button, and tell us in the comments. Would you risk everything for a stranger? Would you go out of your way to help an old woman who is helpless? Would you? Russell Morgan stared at his phone screen, the words replaying in his mind like a nightmare on loop. He'd called home to check on his mother, but Ashley had pocket-dialed him instead. Her voice, cold and calculating, echoed through the speaker. The old woman trusts me completely now. Once the power of attorney is signed, we can move her to that facility and liquidate the assets. He'll never know until it's too late. His hands trembled as he ended the call. His mother, blind, vulnerable, and trusting, was in danger. And the woman he'd planned to marry was the predator. Russell didn't sleep that night. By morning, he'd made a decision that would either save his mother or destroy everything he thought he knew about the woman wearing his engagement ring. 2 days later, Russell stood in his bathroom, barely recognizing his reflection. The prosthetic scar ran from his temple to his jaw. Colored contacts turned his distinctive green eyes hazel. Temporary aging makeup added years to his face. He practiced the Boston accent one more time. Name's James Riz. Been driving for 15 years, ma'am. His lawyer, David, leaned against the doorframe, shaking his head. This is insane, Russ. If Ashley finds out, she won't. Russell turned, meeting his friend's eyes. My mother's life depends on this. The cameras are useless. Ashley's repositioned every single one. I need to see what happens when I'm not there. And if you're wrong, if she's just, I don't know, stressed about wedding planning? Russell pulled a pill bottle from his pocket. I found Mom's glaucoma medication in Ashley's bathroom drawer. Expired, hidden. Mom's been complaining about headaches for weeks. She's losing what little vision she has left. Ashley told me Mom was being dramatic. David's expression shifted. Jesus. Yeah. Russell's jaw tightened. So, I'm doing this. I've already staged the London trip, fake social media posts, the works. As far as anyone knows, Russell Morgan is on another continent. James Riz starts work tomorrow. The Morgan estate sprawled across 3 acres of prime Los Angeles real estate. Russell, as James, pulled the car into the service entrance at 6 a.m., his heart hammering. He'd grown up in this house. Now he was entering it as a stranger. The head housekeeper, Margaret, who'd known Russell since he was born and was the only other person aware of the plan, met him at the staff entrance. Mr. Russ? James? She corrected herself quickly. Welcome. Let me show you around. As they walked through the service corridors, Russell heard it, his mother's voice trembling and uncertain. Please, I just need my medication. My head hurts so badly. Ashley's response was sugar-sweet venom. Kayla, We've discussed this. The doctor says you're taking too many pills. You're confused because of your condition. I'm not confused. I know when I've taken my medication and when I haven't. This is exactly the kind of behavior we need to discuss with the specialists. Ashley's heels clicked on marble. The memory care facility I mentioned has experience with patients who become combative. Russell's hands clenched into fists. Margaret touched his arm gently, a warning. He forced himself to breathe. He met Anna Ruby an hour later in the kitchen. She was preparing breakfast, moving with the exhausted efficiency of someone running on empty. Dark circles shadowed her eyes, but when she arranged his mother's breakfast tray, her hands were gentle, careful. "Is that for Mrs. Morgan?" Russell asked, keeping his voice casual. Anna glanced up, surprised. "Yes. You're the new driver?" "James Riz." He extended his hand. She shook it briefly. Her grip was firm despite her obvious exhaustion. "Anna Ruby, I'm supposed to be the morning maid. But I help with Mrs. Morgan when I can." "Supposed to be?" Anna's expression closed off. "I should get this upstairs." Russell watched her go, noting the way she'd arranged everything on the tray with precision. The fork at exactly the right angle. The juice glass positioned where his mother's hand would naturally reach. Someone who understood what it meant to navigate the world without sight. He followed at a distance, staying in the shadows of the hallway. Through the crack in his mother's bedroom door, he watched Anna guide Kayla to her chair. "Good morning, Mrs. Morgan," Anna said softly. "It's a beautiful day outside. The jasmine in the garden is blooming. I can smell it from here." Kayla's face, lined with pain and confusion, softened slightly. "Jasmine, my husband planted that the year Russell was born. It's lovely. Here, let me help you with breakfast. The scrambled eggs are at 9 o'clock on your plate, toast at 3 o'clock, and your juice is just above the plate." "You're so kind, dear. What was your name again?" "I'm sorry, Anna, ma'am. Don't apologize. You've got a lot on your mind." Russell's throat tightened. This stranger was showing his mother more compassion in 5 minutes than his fiancée had shown in months. The first full day of observation shattered whatever optimism Russell had left. At lunch, he watched from the garden as Ashley served his mother crackers and water. "Ashley, dear, is this all?" Kayla's hand trembled as she felt the plate. "I'm quite hungry." "The doctor says you need to lose weight, Kayla. It's for your health." Ashley's voice dripped false concern. "We all have to make sacrifices." His mother was already dangerously thin. Russell knew no doctor had recommended weight loss. He'd reviewed all her medical records himself. An hour later, Anna snuck into the room with a proper meal. Soup, sandwich, and fruit. Russell watched as she helped his mother eat, speaking in low, urgent tones. "Please don't tell Miss Johnston I brought this. I need this job, Mrs. Morgan. You're an angel, dear, but I don't want you getting in trouble for—" The door slammed open. Ashley stood in the threshold, her beautiful face twisted with rage. "What the hell is this?" Anna stood quickly, placing herself between Ashley and Kayla. "Mrs. Morgan was hungry. You just what? Undermined a doctor's orders? Made me look like the villain?" Ashley's voice rose. "Mrs. Morgan, throw that food in the trash, now. Ashley, please, now!" Russell watched, horror-struck, as his mother fumbled blindly for the plate, her hands shaking. She knocked over the soup, scrambled to find the sandwich, tears streaming down her face as she stumbled toward the trash can. I'm sorry, Kayla whispered, her dignity stripped away, piece by piece. "Anna, you're docked a day's pay," Ashley snapped. "Do it again, and you're fired. Am I clear?" "Yes, ma'am." Russell had to turn away, his entire body shaking with rage. One wrong move would blow everything. But Jesus Christ, how long had this been going on? The breaking point came 3 days later during Ashley's charity luncheon. Russell was serving as a driver, helping with the valet service. He watched as Ashley's wealthy friends arrived, their designer clothes and practiced smiles filling the Morgan Estate's grand dining room. Then Ashley brought his mother downstairs. Russell's blood turned to ice. Kayla was dressed in stained, ill-fitting clothes, a dress at least 10 years old, with visible marks on the front. Her hair was uncombed, her face bare of the light makeup she usually wore. She looked like a homeless woman, not the dignified matriarch of one of California's wealthiest families. "Everyone, you remember Russell's mother, Kayla," Ashley announced, her voice dripping with performative concern. The whispers started immediately. "Oh my God, is she? Look at her clothes. Does anyone actually check on her?" One woman, braver than the rest, approached Ashley. "Dear, is she being properly cared for? She looks—" "I know." Ashley's sigh was perfectly practiced. "Russell's mother is struggling with hygiene since her condition worsened. She doesn't remember to bathe, to change clothes. We're looking into full-time care facilities where professionals can help her." Kayla stood in the middle of the room, her blind eyes filled with tears. She could hear everything, every whisper, every pitying comment, every lie. But she couldn't see the cause, couldn't understand why these people were suddenly treating her like a charity case. Russell found Anna later in the upstairs hallway, cradling his mother while Kayla sobbed. "Why would she do that to me?" his mother cried. "What did I do wrong?" "Nothing, Mrs. Morgan. You did nothing wrong." Anna's voice was fierce despite her own tears. "Nothing at all." Ever felt powerless watching someone suffer? Subscribe now and tell us in the comments. Would you have spoken up? That night, Russell as James found Anna in the garage, sitting on the bumper of one of the cars, her face in her hands. "You okay?" he asked gently. She looked up, startled, then wiped her eyes quickly. "I'm fine, just tired." "Bull." Russell sat beside her, keeping his distance. What Ashley did today was criminal. Anna laughed bitterly. "Criminal? Right, like anyone would care what happens to one old blind woman." "I care." She studied him with sharp, exhausted eyes. "Why? You've been here less than a week." "My mom had dementia before she died," Russell lied smoothly. "Watching what happened today, it reminded me of the kind of people who took advantage of her." Anna was quiet for a long moment. Then she pulled out her phone. "I've been recording her," she whispered, "for 3 weeks. I knew something was wrong, but I didn't know what to do with the evidence." She played a clip. Ashley's voice, cold and clear. "You're becoming an animal, Kayla. This is why you need to be locked up." Russell's hands shook as she played clip after clip. Verbal abuse, emotional manipulation, calculated cruelty. "Why haven't you gone to the police?" he asked. Anna's laugh was hollow. "Because I'm undocumented. My visa expired 6 months ago. If I report this, they deport me. And my brother—" her voice cracked. "My brother is 12. He needs a kidney transplant. I'm his only family. If I get deported, he dies." Russell felt something shift in his chest. This woman had nothing, and she was risking even that nothing to protect his mother. "Then we work together," he said quietly. "You've got evidence, I've got access. Between us, we can nail her." "Who are you?" Anna asked, studying him with new intensity. "Really? Someone who can't stand by and watch anymore." If Anna's bravery is stirring something in your heart, hit subscribe and share it with your daughters, your sisters, and your book club. Because stories about courage deserve to be passed on. Tell us in the comments, have you ever risked it all to do what's right? Over the next week, the abuse escalated in ways that made Russell question his sanity. He discovered Ashley had been locking his mother in her bedroom for hours at a time, claiming it was for her safety. He heard Kayla pounding on the door, begging to be let out, crying that she needed the bathroom. Ashley ignored her for 40 minutes while planning wedding centerpieces on the phone. When she finally opened the door, Kayla had wet herself. The humiliation on his mother's face nearly broke Russell's cover. "This is exactly why you need to be in a home," Ashley said, her voice cold. "You're becoming an animal." Anna was there within seconds, helping Kayla to the bathroom, murmuring gentle reassurances. Russell heard her later in his mother's room, her voice shaking with rage. "She's a monster. I don't care what happens to me. I'm going to stop her." "You can't, dear," Kayla whispered. "She's too powerful. And you have your brother to think about. Your son would want someone to protect you." "My son?" Kayla's voice drifted. "I haven't heard from Russell in days. He said he'd call from London. Maybe he's forgotten about me too." Russell stood outside the door, tears streaming down his face. The crisis came at 2 a.m. on a Tuesday. Russell woke to the sound of running feet. He threw on clothes and raced toward his mother's room, dropping all pretense. Anna was kneeling beside Kayla's bed, phone pressed to her ear, her voice frantic. "I need an ambulance. She's convulsing. There's foam at her mouth." Russell dropped to his knees, his training from a first aid course years ago kicking in. "How long?" "I don't... 2 minutes? I came to check on her and found her like this. She's not breathing." Russell started CPR, his mind screaming. "Stay on the line with 911. Tell them we need immediate assistance. Possible overdose." "Overdose? I didn't give her anything." "I know you didn't." The paramedics arrived 6 minutes later. They rushed Kayla to the hospital, Anna riding with her, Russell following in his car. Still in character, still wearing the damned prosthetics even as his mother fought for her life. At the hospital, he watched from a distance as doctors worked. Anna stood outside the emergency room, her hands clasped in prayer. Then Ashley arrived. She was perfect. Tears streaming, voice shaking, the picture of a devastated daughter-in-law. "Oh God, is she okay? What happened?" The doctor emerged, his face grave. "Miss Johnston, we found dangerous levels of sleeping medication in Mrs. Morgan's system, enough to stop her heart. Did she have access to—" "She must have taken too many pills by accident," Ashley said, her voice breaking beautifully. "Because of her blindness and dementia, she gets confused. I've been so worried this would happen." Anna stepped forward, her voice low and deadly. "That's a lie." "Excuse me? You heard me. Mrs. Morgan didn't take those pills by accident. Someone gave them to her." Ashley's mask slipped for just a second, a flash of rage quickly covered by hurt confusion. "How dare you accuse me? I've done everything for that woman. You've tortured her," Anna's voice rose, "and I have proof." Security moved toward Anna, but Russell stepped between them, his Boston accent gone. "Let her speak," he said quietly. Ashley froze. Her eyes widened as she really looked at him for the first time. "Russell?" she whispered. He removed the colored contacts slowly, letting her see his distinctive green eyes. "Surprise, darling?" The house was silent when they returned. Russell had insisted on bringing Anna back to the estate. She'd refused to leave Kayla's side at the hospital until the doctors assured them she'd survive. Now, sitting in his father's old study, Russell watched as Ashley paced like a caged animal. "You were spying on me?" Her voice shook with rage and fear. "You disguised yourself like some kind of psychopath. You tried to murder my mother. I did no such thing. She took those pills herself." Russell held up the pill bottle he'd found in Ashley's nightstand. "This was in your room, hidden. The pills match what the hospital found in Mom's system." "That doesn't prove. I have recordings." Anna stepped forward, holding up her phone. 3 weeks of abuse. Every moment of cruelty, every threat, every time you hurt her. Ashley's face cycled through expressions: shock, fear, calculation. Then she smiled, and Russell saw the real woman beneath the mask for the first time. "Fine. You want the truth?" She laughed, bitter and cold. "Your mother is pathetic, weak, needy. Do you know what it's like, trying to plan a wedding while some blind old woman shuffles around crying about her dead husband and her absent son?" That absent son was undercover in his own home because he suspected you were abusing her. Abuse? I was moving things along. That power of attorney should have been signed months ago. The facility was ready. Once she was out of the way, we could have accessed the trust funds, liquidated some assets. "We?" Russell's voice went deadly quiet. Ashley's eyes widened. She'd said too much. Russell pulled out his phone and played the recording from that first night. Ashley's voice, clear and damning. "Once the power of attorney is signed, we can move her to that facility and liquidate the assets." "Who's we, Ashley?" She lunged for the door, but Russell was faster. He blocked her exit, pulling out his own phone. "David?" "Yeah, bring them in." 2 police officers entered, along with Russell's lawyer. Ashley's face went white. "Miss Johnston, we need you to come with us. We have some questions regarding—" "You can't prove anything," Ashley screamed. "It's my word against us, against surveillance footage, medical records, and 3 weeks of recorded abuse?" David's voice was ice. "Not to mention the texts we found between you and Derek Mills, discussing plans to access the Morgan family fortune." "Derek?" Anna breathed. "Who's Derek?" "Her partner," Russell said grimly. "Her real partner. They've done this before, to 2 other wealthy families. Find vulnerable elderly targets, get close through family members, isolate them, gain control of their assets, then move them to neglectful care facilities while they drain the accounts." Ashley's mask finally shattered completely. "She was in the way. You were too sentimental, too blind. Old people like her should just die and stop draining resources from people who could actually do something with." "Enough." The officer stepped forward. "Miss Johnston, you're under arrest for attempted murder, elder abuse, fraud, and conspiracy to commit—" Ashley shrieked, lunging toward Russell. "I loved you. I would have made you happy. But no, you had to be Mommy's little boy. Couldn't cut the dead weight. They dragged her away. Still screaming threats, still beautiful and terrible and utterly broken." 3 months later, Russell stood in his mother's garden, watching the sunset over Los Angeles. Kayla was recovering, her medications properly managed, her dementia symptoms largely reversed now that she wasn't being drugged into submission. The doctors said her vision might even improve slightly with consistent treatment. Anna was with her now, reading aloud from Kayla's favorite book. Russell could hear their laughter from here. He'd offered Anna a position as his mother's companion, not a maid, but family. A salary that covered her brother Malachi's transplant, which Russell was also funding directly. He'd expedited the kidney match search through his connections. Malachi was scheduled for surgery in 2 weeks. He'd also hired an immigration lawyer. Anna's status was being resolved quietly, correctly. But there was something else. Something Russell hadn't expected. He'd fallen in love with her. It had crept up on him during those weeks undercover. Watching her gentle strength, her fierce protectiveness, her refusal to let cruelty win even when it cost her everything. She was brilliant and brave and beautiful in ways Ashley never could have been. But he couldn't tell her. She'd been through too much. The last thing she needed was the pressure of the billionaire boss confessing feelings. She didn't owe him anything. She'd saved his mother out of pure goodness, not for reward. "Russell?" Kayla's voice called from the patio. "Come sit with us." He joined them, settling into the chair beside his mother. Anna smiled at him, her face finally peaceful, the dark circles faded. "I was just telling your mother about Malachi's letter," she said. "He wants to meet you. To thank you for—" Her voice caught. "For giving him a chance at life. I'd love to meet him." "He's doing well?" Kayla asked, reaching for Anna's hand. "So well, he's excited about the surgery, scared but excited." Anna squeezed Kayla's fingers. "I can't believe this is real sometimes. That I'm here. That Malachi's going to be okay, that—" She looked at Russell, her eyes bright with unshed tears. "That good people actually exist." Russell's heart clenched. "You're the good one, Anna. You risked everything for a stranger." She wasn't a stranger. She was someone's mother. Anna held his gaze. "And you weren't just a billionaire. You were someone who disguised himself as a driver to save her. That takes a kind of love most people only talk about." "I should check on dinner," Russell said, standing abruptly. If he stayed, he'd say something he'd regret, something she didn't need to hear. But Anna caught his wrist. "Wait." He froze. "I need to tell you something," she said softly. "These past 3 months, I've been trying to figure out what I feel. Gratitude, obviously. Relief. But it's more than that." "Anna, you don't have to. Let me finish." She stood, still holding his wrist. "You gave me and Malachi a chance at life. But you also showed me what real love looks like. Not the romantic movie kind. The kind that puts on a disguise and risks everything. The kind that sees someone drowning and jumps in without thinking about the cost. That's just basic decency." "No." Her voice was fierce. "It's not. Most people would have called the police from London and let them handle it. You came back. You watched your mother suffer and didn't break character because breaking it would have meant losing the evidence to save her. That's not basic. That's extraordinary." Russell's throat tightened. "Where is this going?" Anna took a breath. "I'm falling in love with you, Russell Morgan. And I needed you to know, because I don't want you thinking this is gratitude or obligation. It's not. It's just you." Before Russell could respond, his phone rang. He almost ignored it, but the number made him freeze. David, his lawyer. "I have to take this," he answered, stepping away. "David? What?" "We have a problem." His lawyer's voice was tight. "Derek Mills posted bail an hour ago." "What? How?" The judge denied. "Someone paid it. $2 million cash. And Russell, there's more. We found communications between Derek and 3 other people. This wasn't just a 2-person operation. There's a whole network. They target wealthy families with vulnerable elderly members." Jesus Christ. "There's worse. One of the messages mentioned your mother specifically. Target still alive. Complications. But we can recover the situation. Have backup plan for when she's released from facility." Russell's blood ran cold. "They're still coming after her. We don't know when or how. The FBI is involved now, but Russell, until they make a move, we're sitting ducks." He turned back to Anna and his mother, his mind racing. Anna was watching him, her earlier confession forgotten, her expression sharp with concern. What's wrong? Derek made bail, and he's not working alone. There's a network of them. They're still planning to go after Mom. Kayla's hand went to her throat. They're coming here? Not if I can help it. Russell's mind clicked through options. We need to move. Somewhere they won't expect. Somewhere we can control who has access. I'm not leaving my home, Kayla said, her voice shaking but firm. I won't let them drive me out. Mom, no, Russell. I spent 3 months being terrorized in my own home. I won't run. Anna stood. Then we stay. But we need better security. Cameras they can't move. People we can trust. You don't have to. Yes, I do. Anna's eyes blazed. These people hurt your mother. They threaten Malachi when they threaten my job. They don't get to win. Russell looked between these two women. His mother, finally finding her voice again, and Anna, who'd just confessed her love and was now ready to fight beside him. Okay, he said quietly. We stay. We fight. Together. As the sun set over the garden, Russell realized the danger wasn't over. Ashley was in custody, but Derek and his network were still out there. His mother was safe for now, but for how long? And Anna, brave, beautiful Anna, had just put herself in the line of fire for a family she'd only truly known for months. The war wasn't over. It was just beginning. 2 weeks later, Kayla sat in her favorite garden chair, her face turned toward the sun. Anna sat beside her, reading the morning paper aloud. The FBI arrested 12 people connected to Derek Mills, Anna read. They're calling it one of the largest elder exploitation rings in California history. Is Derek in custody? He tried to breach the estate's new security last night. The FBI was waiting. Kayla let out a breath she'd been holding for weeks. It's really over. It's really over. Russell emerged from the house, carrying 3 cups of coffee. He handed them out, settling into the third chair. Malachi's surgery is tomorrow, he said to Anna. I've arranged for the best room in the hospital. Private, secure. You don't have to. I know I don't have to. I want to. Anna smiled. That warm, brilliant smile that made Russell's heart skip. Thank you. Kayla cleared her throat delicately. You know, for a blind woman, I see quite clearly what's happening between you two. Mom, don't mom me, Russell Alexander Morgan. This girl just told you she loves you 2 weeks ago, and you've been dancing around each other like teenagers ever since. Kayla's smile was mischievous. Now, I can't see faces anymore, but I can hear voices. And Anna's voice gets soft when she talks to you. And yours, Lord help us, yours goes all gentle. So either do something about it, or stop torturing a blind old woman with the suspense. Anna laughed, surprised and delighted. Mrs. Morgan. Kayla, call me Kayla. She reached out, finding Anna's hand unerringly. You saved my life, dear. I think we're past formalities. Russell looked at Anna, really looked at her. The woman who'd risked everything for a stranger. Who'd faced down monsters wearing designer clothes. Who'd confessed her love and then stood ready to fight beside him without hesitation. Anna, he said quietly. Yes? When Malachi's recovered, when things settle, would you let me take you to dinner? Somewhere that's not this house, where you're not working, where it's just us? Her smile could have lit the city. I thought you'd never ask. Kayla laughed, the sound rich and warm and alive. Finally, for a genius billionaire, you can be remarkably slow, son. As they sat together in the garden, a family forged not by blood, but by courage and choice. The jasmine bloomed around them, and for the first time in months, the Morgan estate felt like home again. If you found this story powerful, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And remember, real heroes don't wear capes. Sometimes they wear maids' uniforms or driver's caps. Sometimes they're just ordinary people who choose extraordinary courage when it matters most. Let us know in the comments. Would you have had the courage Anna did? Would you risk everything to save someone you barely knew?